Well, in a Deseret News study of 100 schools across all classifications in sports, Amy Donaldson found that not a single school is 100% compliant when it comes to safety training for coaches.
Not something you want to hear,
yeah.
right? So that led her to say who's coaching our kids, and in the article published in the Deseret News this week. And Amy joins us today. And this was really interesting. Not really something that, I mean, I don't have kids in high school or anything, but growing up, you know, I never thought about, you know, having the coach being trained in this specific thing.
Yeah, I think probably when you were growing up, even though you're much younger than me, I don't think there were a ton of requirements, right? Like it was, hey, we need someone to coach the basketball team. Let's get the math teacher over there, you know?
Right.
But in 2011 became the first where they started instituting safety and you know, serious requirements, and that was concussion training. That's mandated by state law. You're supposed to take it through the National Federation of High Schools. That database is public. That was the only public database we could find to check. And we found a lot of coaches had not taken that training.
Why do you think that is?
Well, we asked, what I did was I agreed not to name coaches in schools for two reasons. One, I feel like if you see a school named and it's not your school, then you think it's not your problem.
Right.
And we don't, you know, I could probably have spent 2 more years at checking because of the turnover. It's just so difficult to check 622 coaches, paid coaches just in one district. You know, it's a lot of coaches to run and to check. So it's a big task they're asked, but in 2011, they required that concussion training. And I asked some of the coaches who hadn't been doing the training, and a lot of them, in 2017, when they added on 7 more components to be considered qualified, which is CPR training, bullying, hazing, online training, things to keep kids safe in this day and age. They just said, a number of them said, you know, it's just one more thing added to our plate. It's not like we don't want to do it, but it's a year late. The concussion is every single year, and they feel like they know it, or they have a trainer on staff. So there were a lot of reasons, but a huge aspect of it was coaches are asked to do so much, and they don't get paid very much, and so some of them were just like, it's just not, we just don't have time.
Right. Yeah, and that was my question when I started reading the article. Wait a sec, don't they have trainers, you know? But you start with this.
Trainers are not required in high school.
Okay.
So, and only about 40% of schools even have access to a trainer.
Wow.
A lot of times they're just students.
Yeah, and so for like 20 years I've been covering sports, and I covered a lot of women's sports, and I can't tell you the number of times I've been at a basketball game where a kid will get hurt, and they're like, go find the trainer. We think he's, you know, out with the track team or out with the football team, or, you know. So then you have the part-time trainer that you're trying to find so they can administer medical help to the students. So that's why coaches need to be trained.
Right.
You can't, and trainers are not at practices. So, you know, I mean, along the Wasatch Front, you have a better chance of having a school with a trainer at least part-time. But when you're talking, you know, a school of a couple thousand kids, you know, over 100,000 kids play sports in Utah, in high school sports. Wow. And that's just not, you've got to have, I mean, I think that is probably an issue that the state legislature needs to address.
And so, you know, these coaches are telling you that they've just got so much on their plate. It's hard for them to do any of these courses, these requirements. But what is the solution? What do you think needs to be done to make sure that our kids are safe?
Well, they need to do the training. The training is good training. I mean, there's a reason that they require it. It is something that needs to be happening. But I think that I think there needs to be a public accountability. Right now, it's kind of hazy. It says it's the school's responsibility or the district's responsibility to check to make sure this is being done. And that's not happening, clearly. So I think they should make the databases public. Not the information that's in them, but yeah, I could check my kid's basketball coach.
Right.
And oh yeah, he's certified. He's done all 8 things. I don't need to know the dates he took the tests or whatever, but I do think they should somehow figure out a way to make that. You know, this stuff costs money, and you know, but I just think in this day and age you can't take that risk.
Right. Hold them accountable and make sure that they are
and without that threat of somebody catching you, they're not gonna do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Too many other things pressing down.
They say.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Amy Donaldson, for joining us, and of course you can catch the article online.
Yeah, DeseretNews.com, and you can follow me on 80 on Sports.
Okay. Amy, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll be right back.